Hello everyone and welcome to OlaJoe. I am the Crocheting Sailor and I am so happy that you all joined me today. We are going to discuss the types of yarn that we need to buy and coordinating with the different hook sizes. This is very important. Now, if you're just starting out, it can be very overwhelming to go into a yarn store of any kind and see all these beautiful colors of yarn and various skeins, hanks, yarn balls, and cakes, and not know which ones to get and what needles you need, or crochet hooks, I should say. Now, this is what you're looking at is an eye hook. This is a 5.5 millimeter, and I'm actually doing a cowl. Okay, this is Ferris wheel yarn. If you notice, I don't have the label on, but this is Vintage Carousel, if anyone loves this color. That is what the colorway is, Vintage Carousel. Very pretty. It's working up really nicely. And I'm actually doing a pattern that Fiber Spider has on his channel. And he usually, when he makes his own patterns, he usually does or uses the eye hook on just about everything. Maybe one or two videos I've actually seen him work on something else, but this is working up nicely and I'm actually doing a cowl with this. Now for this particular yarn for Ferris wheel yarn is made by Lion Brand, and it says that one of these cakes can make a hat, a scarf, or a wrister set. So I just wanted to let you know that. And this right here is a medium weight 4 yarn. And before I put this away, I want to show you another medium weight 4 yarn. Sometimes this can be kind of tricky because the sizes of yarn does not look the same. And this is what I mean. If you notice with the Ferris wheel yarn, which is the multicolor yarn here, it's thinner and it's wound tighter. Can you all see that? And this Red Heart Super Saver yarn, which is the dusty gray color, is wound loosely, and this is a usual size of a worsted weight 4. This is what it should look like, okay, when you're thinking about your crochet hooks. And with your worsted weight 4 yarns, you're more than likely will see on the back of the package that it is an H hook will be used. And if you look right here, this is what you're going to look for: medium weight 4, and you're also going to look for the coordinating hook size. This actually right here says 5.5 I9. So with that being said, you can use the hook I just showed you. You could use this hook size, okay? And that's for this one. But keep in mind that this was loosely wound, whereas this one is tightly wound. So your stitches are going to be a little bit tighter on this one because it's wound, because the yarn is wound tighter. So with that being said, you might have to use more skeins or balls of yarn depending on what project you're working on and how big you're trying to make it. Okay, so this is Red Heart Super Saver. If anyone is interested, this is 364 yards. That's something also that you would need to know and figure out is how much yarn do I use? And that's a very, very good question. You will learn over time. So what I did is I started to grab various sizes of yarn and show you. This is Karen Simply Soft. Okay, this is one of the popular brands that people use to make hats, scarves, blankets, and etc. And it's super lush and plush and soft. This is made by Yarnspirations. Now, this is a medium weight 4, and it says the recommended hook size is a 5 millimeter hook. And this is what I pulled out, 5 millimeter hook. Okay, this puzzle yarn right here, it is anagram. This is what the colorway is. And this is a bulky 5. Okay, this will be a 6mm hook, a US J10. And what I did was I went ahead and made a foundation chain. Can you all see that? I want to pull it up closely. If you notice, and put it together so you all can see, that number 5 is just a little bit bigger than the 4 weight yarn. Okay, and it corresponds to the different size hooks, and that's why you need to know exactly what you're looking for. See, this 4 weight yarn requires a 5mm. This 5 weight yarn requires a 6mm hook. So make sure that you check the package and see what the recommended hook size is, and if you're going by a pattern, also make sure that you know what the pattern calls for. That's what you should go by. Okay, let me go ahead and pull out the landscapes. And there goes the hook. My hooks have been running away from me. This is a beautiful landscapes yarn. This is also made by Lion Brand. The color of this is Skyline Horizon. And let's see. You also need to look for the yardage when you're buying this. So this is 147 yards. Now, if you wanted to do a hat, now they do have a project on here, but you would have to make sure that if you wanted to do this hat, that this is not a knit pattern and that this is a crochet pattern is what we're discussing at this point. So make sure you know that for sure, and you can find out by actually pulling the sleeve off just like so, and then you can open it up and then look on the back. There is no pattern. So if you were hoping for one, make sure that it says that there is a pattern. Most of the time now, what they'll try to do is put it on the front that there is a pattern for the particular photo that they have. But this is just such a beautiful colorway. But see how it's worked up? This is using the 6.5mm hook. It's slightly bigger. And what that means is, since you're making your foundation chain with the 6.5mm hook, you more than likely will need a little bit more yarn because it's only 147 yards. And that's for the landscapes. Okay, moving right along, we can go ahead and go into the threads, because some of you may go ahead and get excited about doing crochet but may be interested in dabbling in other things. Well, then we can talk about threads. Okay, threads can make doilies, they can make nice little crochet tops and little dainty items. Okay, this is 100% mercerized cotton. Okay, I went ahead and I put the hook sizes that are associated with each one of these. Make sure that you look in the area here. This is a 0 weight yarn and it's a lace weight. And also it's saying that we need to use a 1.5mm hook. Why did I put this hook on here? I put a 1. But not to fear, because we always have extra crochet hooks is what I have. So it's nice to have this. Get yourself a nice set that you can use. This is a 1.5. And we need a smaller hook size because this is a 0 weight. And look how fine it is. So we need to be able to use a smaller hook rather than a larger hook to make nice little detail projects. It's looking a little blurry. Hoping you all can see that. And for this one, for Aunt Lydia's, this is Fashion 3. It's still 100% mercerized cotton, and it's a super fine. This is a 1 weight, okay? And it says a 5.5 to a 3.75mm hook is what's necessary. You see, it'll be easier to use this particular one. It's very nice and fine. Alrighty. Now let's go ahead to some cakes, because I know some of you out there would love to do some hat and scarf sets. And I know you all have probably seen this big, huge, chunky cake. This Caron cake, Yarn Inspirations. And this is a super bulky weight 6 yarn. Okay, the recommended hook size is an 8mm hook. It's a US 11, L11. And look at this. Look how it's worked up. A lot bigger. See the difference? That's why the recommended hook size is very important when using, this is an 8, as you can see. It's very important, because, and you need to know, because you wouldn't want to use, get on in there. See, it's even hard to get in there. Use this big guy right here. Okay, does not correspond very well. But I plan on doing a hat and scarf set, just so you all know. That is my next project. So moving right along, we do have cotton yarn. Some people may want to do dishcloths and things of that nature. This is Sugar and Cream. I actually pulled it out so you all can see. This is a 5mm hook. Okay, on this particular ball of yarn, this is Lily Cotton, and it's 85 grams. It's 3 ounces. It's a worsted weight 4-ply, okay? And the approximate yardage is 150 yards. And this is what we're looking for right here, medium weight 4. That's why we're using that 5mm hook. That's it right there. Okay, and this is how it's worked up. It works nicely. Runs right through the hook. This is the corresponding hook size to this size of yarn. Okay, I want you to know that the yarn weights start from 0, which was, no, that's the 1. Where's the 0? This is the 0, okay? So it starts from this weight here, goes all the way up to 7. I don't have a 7. The only largest size I have is that bulky 6. Okay, the bulky 6 is bulky yarn or roving yarn. So if you see something that says roving, we'll get into gauge. I want to go ahead and talk about gauge in another tutorial, because I just want you to focus specifically on the yarn and the hook size. So one thing at a time, and then we'll talk about gauge in another one. I was almost slipped up and got into it. But I think this is very, very nice. I went ahead and got this yarn because it was on sale and I thought it was pretty. The color was beautiful, long story short, and it's called Thick and Thin. Okay, and let's see, it's 92 yards. So not much yardage on this one. And more than likely, I'll probably need 1 or 2 more skeins, because I want to do a hat and scarf set. And I want to come up with a very nice pattern to use for this. And the recommended hook size is a 10mm, it says, an NP15. So I pulled out my 10mm hook, and I started to make my foundation chain, and look how it came out. Let me lay this out. I thought this was really neat, and I said, oh, I need to come up with my own pattern to see if I can keep this whole chain the same. So I'll probably alternate, try to get this right in the center and work that down. So I wanted to just share that all with you. I thought this was very lovely. And this is the bulky 6. So you definitely would have to buy this hook on its own. Okay, I did mention this. If you saw all the tools of a crocheter, this is a separate hook. This is not something that will come in a crochet hook pack. Okay, I went ahead and I pulled out this Loops and Threads yarn because this particular yarn is 243 yards and it's a medium weight 4. Just like this Landscapes yarn, it's also a medium weight 4. And they kind of look pretty much the same in thickness. Can you all see that? It looks the same. But the recommended hook size is different. This says 8mm. And for the packaging I showed previously, this was a 6.5. This is a big difference. So think about what you're making and also think about what pattern you're using, what the recommended hook size is, and if you're doing a tutorial, you can follow the tutorial guidelines and what that crocheter is recommending rather than using this. Because it seems like, let's see, let me pull a little bit extra out. It seems like it's pretty much the same thickness and you could use the same hook size. Okay, that's what it kind of looks like. But no, I see a difference. See, even though you pull it and it looks thinner, it's thicker. But I don't know if I would use a size that big. It depends on what I'm making, because there would be holes in your project if your crochet hook was larger, which in this case they're asking for a larger hook size. So I would recommend that you look at your labels, always read your labels, always look at your patterns and look what it calls for first. Oh, this is another Simply Soft, and this is a worsted weight 4. I was looking for some other sizes to show you all. Okay, one last one. This is a bulky 5, and this is 273 yards, and the recommended hook size for this one is the same as the Facet Stones, Loops and Threads. They both require that 8mm size hook. So let's see. Let's put these two together and see what we have. And this is what you'll have to do in the store. Sometimes you may have to put things together and take a look at it and see. So it looks like the one on the right is wound just a little bit tighter than this one. So make sure you read your patterns, your labels. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment, send me an email. All of my information is within the description box if you want to contact me offline. That is totally up to you, but I really enjoyed sharing this all with you. I hope you learned something today, and let's do happy crochet. Bye.